So, very much like to welcome everybody here today, and we wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Burramadigal people of the Darug Nation. And we pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. So, welcome here. It's a great day. It's been coming for a while, and it's really nice to have everybody here just to be able to share it. And Jan wanted to have a proper book launch. She finally got around to putting this together. So it's really great to be here. So to open the proceedings, I wish to call on Reverend Myung Park, previous moderator of New South Wales ACT Synod.
Well, first of all, thank you for this wonderful opportunity that has been extended to me, Jen. It's such a privilege to say something about this remarkable little book. I think this book has been just not something that personal reflection, even though it's an Uniting Church Ministers perspective, but I think this is a Uniting Church Ministers gift to the leaders of our church and also wider church leadership, because it's definitely a gift that women leadership can bring to define the mission of God and the church, because it is a personal reflection on mission and the leadership, and also some of the trailblazing women leaders experience, some quite painful. This book invited many other women, especially women in leadership, to reflect their own experience and also offering their own leadership. I might be the least suitable person to say anything on this book because I do not see myself as a feminist or have not much work done on any reflection on feminist perspective. I might have been too busy just put my head above the water. So I like to say a little bit about me. It's even though about this book, but I think it might help to share something about me. I was treated as a special child by my parents and the relatives because I cultivated my mother's womb to have a boy child after 5 consecutive daughters. Along with my 5 siblings, all my sisters, I was standing in the back row while my brother and the male cousins were running the show for my father's anniversary, because girl does not have a worth to carry the sacred, formal, and the ceremonial job. I became a minister of the word, but because it was in foreign land, my mother didn't worry. My uncle didn't care. As long as I was out of mind, out of sight, and then become out of mind. When I was elected as the moderator-elect, someone referred me as the foreign widow, very biblical term, a poor foreign widow. Even that stage, I was gracious that someone connected me with the biblical figure. Once I was a guest at the centenary celebration of Presbyterian Church Assembly meeting in Korea. The leaders of Korean Presbyterian Church did not know what to do with the moderator of UCA, who happened to be a Korean woman. They invited the Canadian moderator to bring greetings from the Canadian church. But sorry to Uniting Church, because your moderator had happened to be a woman, Korean woman, they passed me. I was typical product of the society's culture and the church's culture in some sense, to which I belonged. I was nurtured and formated. And this is not something only applying to Korea, but it applied to Australia, Pakistan, and Ireland, where I lived and shared and fully participated. But as I was reading Jane's, this little but powerful book, I could hardly turn a page without agreeing, affirming, and cheering the facts, the insight, and the prophetic voice that Jane brought into. One of the most insightful points that I found in this little book is that the gift of women's leadership is an ability to work collaboratively instead of competing with the others. As Jen said, it is undoubtedly a strength of women who focus primarily on the growth and well-being of people and the community to which we belong. Do you feel warmed about this from this? Jane's own journey, which primarily involved a male construct structure, was painful. But she saw the suffering and struggle of women led to a unique and powerful leadership model, which is resilient, adaptable, and flexible to the challenges that we all need in the 21st century. So I wanted to thank Jen for writing this feminist reflection on mission and leadership for multiple reasons. I especially thank you for your perseverance of 25 years that you put it in this book. In the sayings of Korea, don't go unless it is a road. Don't listen unless it is a word. Although it sounds wise and helpful, but this too is a construct by the male construct society. Who set the road? Or who decide a word? We know that the new road constantly appear in our GPS. If you don't update your GPS, you will miss out the new road. And the new words are added to the Oxford Dictionary every year. Jen has highlighted and characterized of women's leadership and suggested them as a quality of leadership required in the ever-changing world. The women's leadership reflect the love of God, the core of Christ's mission, the mission that the church carries out, so that you, or me, and all the leaders, including foreign widows. So thank you, Jen. To ignite evangelism into the topic of mission and leadership. Throughout the book, you have carried this mission of God, who is searching, seeking, and motivating by her love. Just one thing, Jen, if I may ask or suggest or put a wish. I would like you to take another attempt to include the reflection of the colored, the people of color or different languages, and also the viewpoint of the LGBTIQ+. Because 2 is better than 1, 3 is better than 2. The diversity is the way to go. And I am most grateful that you have persevered. And I haven't actually made the 81-page note, but I made it actually 16-page note from this, and I really enjoyed. And I would really like to recommend all the women to share with Jen. You will never know. you will be in the book. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Myung. It was very nice to hear your words. Next, I'd like to introduce Pauline Cullen. And Jen and I have known Pauline for many years, and currently also a member of the Roseville congregation. But Pauline was one of the people who kept prodding Jen about how's your book going, and that was an important role. So, Pauline.
Well, thank you, Jan. It certainly is a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon for the launch of your book. I think that it was a celebration not just of the finale of the publishing of this work, but I also would like us to acknowledge and to celebrate all that's gone before. Celebrating a goal that's been achieved, celebrating the creativity that's flourished, acknowledging, again, the perseverance maintained or endured, the tricky decisions that have been made, as well as the thoughtful consideration of the readership. I'm not suggesting, Jan, that you're a perfectionist, but I know that you're always alert to how things ought to be. Even celebrating your willingness to follow those initial promptings and to put the whole thing in motion. Above all, we know that Jan has sought inspiration from God and endeavoured to bring him glory, and that we celebrate. For my part, I'm only one of a number of people who have taken this journey alongside of you. In the process, I have already learned much through listening to your discussions of issues and events, shortcomings and achievements within the church, and in some cases despite the church. I'm very much aware of your dedication to truth and accuracy, your ability to view things from a distance, your desire to see things in perspective, as well as your keenness for close scrutiny. These gifts you have brought to the research and writing of this book. This vital and thought-provoking record of a fascinating phase in our church will be invaluable. As a friend of many years, I am personally very happy for you, and I offer you my heartfelt congratulations.
Thank you, Pauline. Now it's Jan's turn. So I can introduce Jan in a number of ways. She's been a teacher, a wife, a very proud grandmother, as you see, a Uniting Church minister for nearly 25 years, and currently is half-time minister at Abbotsbury Uniting, part-time consultant for Uniting Mission and Education, and part-time pastoral supervisor and supervisor trainer. And somehow or other she got to put a 20,000 odd words together and get this done in the last few years. So she's done well. So I'd now like to call Jan to say a few words.
Well, thank you everyone for being here this afternoon. It's I think the fulfilment of a dream for me that this day has finally come and this book has actually become a reality. Because it's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I think the seeds were sown probably 10 years ago of wanting to actually put some things together into something that was publishable when I first did my Master in Ministry finished in 2008, and I did some work on feminist theology. And I think for a period of time, it sat there, and I thought, oh, I wonder if I could do something with this. And then really, I think 2017, there were a few interesting things that kind of lined up that helped me kind of get the impetus to actually put this together. One of them was I got an interesting email from West Bow Press in the US, totally out of the blue, saying, would you like to become a writer or something out of the blue? At the same time, I'd been at a Friday college at Roseville Uniting Church when Pauline had actually presented some more. The more collaborative style, which is often more commonly seen in women leaders, needs to be valued equally for the gift that it is, in providing holistic ministry that is relationally based and building community rather than promoting competition. The model of servant leadership that Jesus embodied is our model, and the model which the Christian Church needs to reclaim and develop its culture within all aspects of institutional and community life. How we hold authority and use it wisely with kingdom values and intent will be a good measure of our consistency and will colour and flavour our mission outcomes. And then finally, as I complete this book, and this was July 2021, I'm excited to report the Uniting Church has just inducted its first ordained woman assembly president in July 2021, the Reverend Sharon Hoss, the first ordained woman president of the Uniting Church in 44 years. And I said, but why has it taken so long? She's the third woman to be elected as a president and head of the Uniting Church in Australia. There have only been two other lay women before her, one who just completed 3 years and one 20 years before. So there's some challenges there. I'm incredibly grateful to the Reverend Sharon Hollis, because Sharon, when I let her know I'd written this book, I sent the manuscript. She was willing to read through it, and she wrote a beautiful paragraph of affirmation that's actually on the back cover of the book, and it really typifies and summarises beautifully, I think, what her journey has been about, what many women's journey has been about, and I'm incredibly grateful to her for making the time to do that for me and for us, because I see this book as a record of this journey, and I don't know whether anybody else had ever put it down in writing. And as I kind of look at a few more years of ministry and maybe retirement, I didn't want to lose the opportunity. The time seemed to be right to do that. My final paragraph. After 25 years of ordained ministry that I celebrated last year, it's been a privilege to have witnessed what God does in people's lives, how church communities transform, and how we adapt and embrace life's uncertainties with faith and courage. It's been a privilege to serve and lead God's people in worship, witness and service, to make a unique contribution to the mission of God in the world. So I look forward to the time when even more women will lead and serve in the Uniting Church and in other denominations as ordained leaders. For the sake of those who still work and strive for that privilege of being ordained within other parts of the Christian Church, may we and all women continue to offer our best inspired leadership and faithful service in the mission of God. And may we be pointers to Jesus the Christ, who brings love, healing and wholeness to all who are looking